In the previous episode, we saw the rise of Animax, DSTV Sub-Sahara's first ever anime channel that graced DSTV, a dedicated anime channel 24 hours a day, 7 days a week of pure anime content. Anime fans in Sub-Sahara Africa, especially in South Africa, had marveled at the meteoric rise of Animax. But in the months that followed, this young inception of Animax that graced Sub-Sahara Africa would see a very abysmal decline in anime content. Join me, your boy GeekGhostGamerTop, on the microphone as we look at part 2 of why Animax had fallen so far from grace with its ever-changing and new reality content that would see Animax facing a rebrand. We take a deep dive look into part 2 of the rise of anime in South Africa, subtitled The Decline of Animax. Animax, together with Sony Pictures Entertainment UK and with Sony Channel, released in Sub-Sahara Africa and South Africa in November of 2007, with its fresh, new anime content that would grip Sub-Sahara Africa and DSTV. Anime fans that had long waited for anything anime since the rise of anime first in the late 90s, starting with Pokemon on the South African channel ETV. Animax would bring new anime content that would marvel and bring a new generation of anime lovers, with programming such as Death Note, Salty Ray, Eureka 7, Bleach. Anime fans in Sub-Sahara Africa were amazed, and they knew that anime had firmly arrived. Animax in South Africa had won its inaugural award, voted by the Times in December of 2007. Animax was so beloved throughout the fandom that it had created in South Africa. With new content and reruns every day, Animax had strived to be South Africa's playing ground, with anime taking charge in South Africa, breeding a new generation of anime fans. With its daily lineup of shonen, shoujo, and seinen anime, Animax had known that South Africa was going to be firmly gripped, and it would be a rise in the new generation of anime fans. Animax knew that this was their time. New anime content, although not much, had come into Animax South Africa at that time. Titles like Wolf's Rain, Blackjack, Bleach, and Ghost in the Shell. Animax knew that this is what anime fans were looking for. Anime fans told DSTV at this time that they wanted new content. But unfortunately, Animax, with its meteoric rise, suffered at DSTV's long and very arduous and broadening reality-based and movie channels. Channels like Mnet Movies, GeekNet at that time, and Sony Entertainment Television, or the Sony Channel as it was rebranded to. Animax found it hard to go up against these big players, and with its ever-ending market of cartoons dominance at that time, such as Nickelodeon, Disney Channel, and Cartoon Network, Animax was floundering at the big and the broadness of DSTV, especially in its time slot, and reruns plagued Animax at that time. By the summer of 2008, Animax were playing reruns of anime that had graced DSTV at that time in November of 2007. Animax was struggling. Anime fans were clamoring for something new and fresh. By the winter of 2008, already affirmed itself, Animax knew that they needed change. Sony Pictures Entertainment UK at that time heard Animax Sub-Saharan Africa, and what they did was truly unfathomable to anime fans. With its introduction to reality TV at that time through MTV and VH1, Animax had to adapt to a new style of broadcasting format and programming. First, with Solitary. Solitary came into Animax South Africa by June of 2008. Animax knew that they had to find something fresh and vibey and adapt to South Africa's TV reality scheduling programming. Anime fans were at a loss and angry, but still, anime or Animax still was fresh and it still aired in South Africa. But with more reality shows coming in, like Takeshi's Castle and Next, Animax truly found itself floundering. And boy oh boy, Animax was gonna be rebranded at its darkest hour. Reality shows came into Animax. Reality and anime were at crossroads, never seeming to find themselves. And from then, reality shows such as Kenny vs. Benny, Solitary, Next, Most Daring, Takeshi's Castle plagued the anime channel that was released with a big bang in November of 2007. Anime fans never knew that Animax was gonna go a very dark road. And it did. At the end of October 2010, Animax was defunct and was rebranded as Sony Max. With anime being found in small pockets no longer on Animax, Sony Max came into a well-adapted South African TV reality scheduling program, to the dismay and the disgust of anime fans in South Africa, especially in Sub-Saharan Africa, the only region that had seen Animax and its plethora of anime programming at that time. Sony Max, together with the Sony channel at that time, knew that reality shows in South Africa were big. But unfortunately, not everybody was accustomed to what happened to Animax being defunct. Although in its great strides, or its first strides in South Africa and Sub-Saharan South Africa, breeding a new ground of anime fans in Sub-Saharan South Africa, and launching its first ever gaming anime expo called Rage at that time in 2010, anime fans were not happy at why Animax was defunct and replaced with Sony Max. As time went on, with Sony Max now broadcasting reruns of Kenny vs. Benny, The Challenge, Next, and other reality-based programming from MTV and VH1 at that time, anime fans were irate, and they called for Sony Max and Animax to be scrapped altogether. Sony Max ran from October 31st of 2010, and it didn't last long. Seemingly, with no peripheral ground that Sony Max had come off of Animax's legacy. Sony Max was forced shut down in February of 2011. It was a great sigh of relief, but unfortunately, no answers to why Animax had been cut off and replaced with Sony Max. But in the seemingly dark tunnel of why Animax was shut down, it cropped a new generation of anime fans in South Africa. Anime fans scrambled left, right, and center to find anime, and lo and behold, they did. It was shared amongst fans, friends, and the legacy of anime and Animax in South Africa was living and striving in the midst of what was a defunct anime channel, the first of its kind in South Africa. Thanks to Animax, all hope was not lost. From Rage came a new idea and conception. comicconafrica was founded and released on African soil in 2015. Nothing bad came out of Animax, but lo and woe behold, the legacy that Sony Max had trampled on. Unfortunately, in February of 2011, all together with the Sony channel and Sony Max, Sony Pictures Entertainment was forced to leave Sub-Saharan Africa. Your decline and rebranding of Sony Max will not be forgotten. And this has been part 2 of the rise of Animax in South Africa. From its meteoric rise in November of 2007 to its abysmal fall in October of 2010 and to its closure in February of 2011. Sony Pictures Entertainment, together with the Sony channel and Animax, found it hard to find a fan base, an anime fan base, thus the decline of Animax. But not in a vain way. Anime still lives strong in South Africa. And that is the memory the most anime fans will remember of Animax. Thank you for watching this part 2 of the rise of anime in South Africa, subtitled The Decline of Animax. This has been your boy GeekGhostGamerTop on the microphone. Make sure you like, share, please do subscribe, leave your comments in the comment section below, hit that notification bell as you subscribe, and tell me that you enjoy this two-parter of the rise of Animax in South Africa. I've been your boy GeekGhostGamerTop on the microphone. Thank you for watching. Later.